working on that, I want to introduce you to Dr. Eileen Brownell, who's a longtime professor in the School of Management, and the interim director of the Denise Taber Finard Women's Institute. And we are thrilled to have her, as well as our Women Scholars students, on the call with us tonight. So I'm going to send it on to your way, Dr. Brownell, and we'll see you all later.
Okay, so hi everybody. This is so wonderful to be here with all of you, and I'm going to share my screen right now so we can start the presentation. This is going to be a really wonderful presentation because tonight, we have some of our ambassadors from the Women's Institute. And so they're going to share their experiences and talk with you about what they see the Institute's role and what value it has been for them. And I'll just let them do that when we get to that part. So welcome to our Proudly Sage webinar series. And this is the Denise Taber Finard Class of '80 Women's Institute. And the title is Intergenerational Approach to Women's Leadership. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. So the leadership team consists of faculty. I'm a professor emerita, so I just stopped teaching in December of 2025 after 44 years of being in the School of Management. I've taught at every single part of our institution and dating back to Junior College of Albany. If any of you are joining us tonight that were JCA students and now alum, I was also at Sage After Work, the graduate school, Russell Sage, Sage College of Albany. We have morphed right into this wonderful institution called Russell Sage College with all of its parts now whole, right? We're in a more holistic approach to education. And so that's who I am. And I'm the interim director of the Women's Institute. I'm proud of that. In my history at Sage, I was also a co-director of the Helen M. Upton Center for Women's Studies. So some of you may remember that, the Upton Center, and you know, Dr. Sib Jennings and Jean Poppy and Chris Ingram and Michelle Napierski-Pransel and a whole array, David Baker, so many faculty members who really believe strongly in women's education. And the person I work most directly with is Professor Amy Pass, and she's the faculty fellow, and she works extremely closely with the ambassadors. We have 12 ambassadors, and I'll show you their photos in a few minutes and talk a little bit about them. And then Jen Gish, who's also on our call, she's on the leadership team, the Vice President for Marketing and Communications, and she's the Women's Institute Cabinet Liaison. And Jen and I have been working very closely together, and we've really established a great relationship. Shelley Calabrese, who is now the Assistant Vice President of Major Gifts, who was the former Executive Director, so she's still on our team, raising money, making connections, being connected to alum. And Dr. Jen Murphy, who is leading up the way of our newest professional development certificate program. So that's our group. And here are the women who are ambassadors currently in the Institute. And their majors range from their bio and forensic psychology and education, childhood education, physical education, masters. We have a couple of students in the master's program who've been with us at the Institute and continued on. Physical therapy, business, and so they really represent a wide range of majors. So what is the program about? Well, there's been sort of a new focus at the Women's Institute. And when I say new focus, I don't mean something completely different at all. What I really am saying here is we've really been focusing on women's leadership and women's empowerment. So we're looking at leadership for the ambassadors, leadership development in a safe, vibrant learning community of diverse individuals. And when we talk about women's leadership and women's empowerment, it of course means focus on women's issues. And some of our activist warriors are very, very connected to women's issues and are executing service projects that support their interests and their passions. And we also are focusing on mentoring and professional development. So we're connecting our ambassadors with professional women, and we're using this intergenerational, some people say multi-generational mentorship model. And when we think about who you're working with, if you're still working, students who are graduating, they're going to be working with three different generations of people. And so we're looking at this model as our ambassadors mentoring younger girls. For example, I think one of the ambassadors later will talk about we had an event with Girls Inc. where we had girls 8th grade to 12th grade, and they wanted to talk with the ambassadors about college and what college is all about mentoring, about leadership. So they've been doing mentoring younger girls, and our ambassadors have been connected out to professional women in our community and beyond. Again, I'm going to let the ambassadors talk about some of these programs because they're the ones that are getting the direct benefit. What's really been exciting is how interested women in our community, professional women, have been to work with the ambassadors and to share their stories and to reach out and mentor. We had an event with the Forum for Executive Women. One of our board members, Ronnie Shaman, she set up this connection. We had a dinner in the president's house in Vail House. Some of you may have been in Vail House. And then the ambassadors created a series of questions asking these professional women, the few women are in the top position in their organization, female position in the organization. And it was such a big success. And the ambassadors came back and said, wow, I learned so much. I thought I needed a mentor in my field of study. They started to realize, right? The connections are much broader than people in your own major or your own profession. So that's been a big focus, and there have been a number of events, and we're continuing to focus on that as we look to the future. And then the last piece, of course, is a living, loving community of women scholars. And this is really about the ambassadors and working on service projects, whether a nonprofit organization reaches out to us and asks for some assistance, or the students decide, they have a particular interest and they create a service project and execute that project in our community. So it's a nice bridge. There's also an opportunity, of course, for the ambassadors and all students, but I'm speaking of ambassadors in our program, to take a women's studies minor. And it doesn't even have to be a minor. It could be just deciding to take particular courses, or they can construct a minor. Now, all the current ambassadors, except three, the newer ambassadors, have a women's studies minor. Lizzie's going to talk a little bit about that later and her renewed interest in possibly doing that as part of her major. So they currently we have a couple of students in the capstone, and they will be presenting their research during on reading day in early May. So what's new and exciting at at the Women's Institute? Well, we are leading the conversation about professional development in the Capital Region. That's what we want to do. We want to be leading the way. And one of the ways is to provide a gateway for women who are interested in professional development, possibly thinking about an advanced degree, a master's degree. We're in the process, and Dr. Jen Murphy and Dr. John Dion are working on this, and we're looking to launch the marketing in March and deliver the first cohort, open the first cohort in May. It's so for continuing education for the Women's Institute, Russell Sage College, Women at Work Leadership Professional Development Certificate Program. Yes, that's a mouthful. And but it's really about constructing modules that people can opt to take. And we're partnering right now with Women at Work, which is part of the Times Union, Hearst Corporation, professional organization. We're a sponsor of Women at Work. And they're excited and interested. So in this program, people can take modules that if they take all three of the modules, there are three modules, they can get credit for our management of change in organization, innovation, sorry, course, and possibly start the master's, the MBA program, or the organization management program. And that's exciting, right? To expand our connection to alumni, possibly to professional women in the Capital Region. It's both it's a hybrid program, both in person and online, because that's pretty much what people were asking for. They wanted a combination of learning, pedagogy. So we have some upcoming events. We're pretty excited about what we have on our Women's Institute events calendar. Again, everybody, maybe you don't know, but Women's History Month is March, and we have a big event on March 18th that we're calling What's Your To Be, the process of becoming, personal and professional stories and the people who shape us. We wanted to start to focus a little bit more on the to be part of our motto, right? Be, know, do. And so we're looking at focusing on how we become. And as college students, right, they're becoming students, they're becoming scholars, they're getting their degrees, possibly even into their master's degree. And who are they? You know, who am I is really the big question. And we have some alum panelists coming, and so look forward to more information about that. All are invited. We also have the Capital District Feminist Studies Consortium Conference on March 25th, again, part of Women's History Month. And we have the Menopause Interdisciplinary Conference. These are all being sponsored by the Women's Institute, co-sponsoring by the Women's Institute. And then we're excited, and this is open to alumni. We have a study away trip to Seneca Falls, Women Uplifting Women. So we're working on getting that all organized and set up. Ava, as a matter of fact, is working with me on that particular project, and some of the other ambassadors are too, but she's in the lead right now. And then in April, we also have a Mooncatcher project. Dr. Napierski Pransel is heading that up, and we're joining her on that initiative. So let's hear from some of our ambassadors. Here's a photo of some photos of what they've been working on, what they've been doing. You can see in the upper left corner, there's a picture of some of the Forum for Executive Women with our ambassadors, our students working with Girls Inc. They're making blankets. They had a blanket-a-thon over the holidays, and just them in little work groups. And kind of give you just a little bit of a look at what we've been doing. So the first question I'm going to pose to the ambassadors, I'd just like to introduce them. So we have Ava Judd. I don't know, can you see? Maybe I should come out of this. I'm not really sure how to handle this. Let me, oh yeah, then I can let go of this. So let me stop sharing so you can see the ambassadors a little bit better. So we have three of our ambassadors here. Oh, Bridell, four of our ambassadors. Bridell, do you have your video by chance? There she is. Hi. So why don't each of you introduce yourselves to our guests, our the people who are on wanting to know more about what you do, what you value, and how you are becoming. Okay, let's start with Lizzie.
Hi, my name is Lizzie Mastrantono. I am a junior forensic psychology student at Sage. This is my second year as an ambassador, so I am really excited to be back and working with new women and the same faces as well. Um, but yeah, one of the things that I really value about being an ambassador is the service and community aspect of our work. Um, that is something that's really important to me, being able to give back. So last semester, I was able to organize a goods drive with Unity House in Troy, which is a local domestic violence shelter. And we were able to donate 3 boxes of personal hygiene goods to them, which was really exciting. Um, but I think for us, there's just a deeper meaning to our work. It really is able to be something that we come together and work on collectively. And it's definitely powerful when we're able to put our minds together and create something.
Thank you, Lizzie. We might circle back to you. What about you, Chatria?
Hi, I'm Chitria Lohman. I'm a freshman at Russell Sage College. Yeah. I'm an early childhood education major, and this is my first year in Women's Ambassadors, well, being an ambassadors. I joined the ambassadors to become an ambassador because I value when I first applied to become an ambassador. I was applying because I was worried when I come to the college as a commuter, I wouldn't find my place. And honestly, becoming an ambassador was the best choice I had ever made because not only did I just found a place in the college, but I also found someone like people who I can call my second family. Along with that, I've always been strong about women's issues like toxic relationships and stuff like that and all just women's issues in general that happens, and so I found that the Bastards are the perfect place for me.
Thank you. Thank you. And what about you, Ava? Oh,
Hi, I'm Ava. I'm a senior at Russell Sage College. I've been here all 4 years. I started out as a PT student, now I'm a business student, and I have a concentration in sales and marketing. This is my first year as a women ambassador and working alongside Dr. Brownell as her assistant as well, that I have been very grateful for the opportunity to do so. Hearing Elizabeth and Shatria go, they touched on family and community, and we had to do some values that were personal to the ambassadors themselves, but also to the Women's Institute. And those two, along with exploration, were ones that we found in common between every girl there and our institute in general. And I think it sums it up completely. We are a family. We focus on the community, the issues going on in our community, and how to put actions behind the words that we talk about in our meetings. And we also like to explore other branches, other things that are out there for us to be focusing on as an institution and how we can make it better. Our to know, to be, to do is a great motto, and I think we really focus on the to be and the to do in our institution, and we really make sure that there's actions behind words, and it's just there's so much value behind that. You never know what someone's going through, so it's great to have a safe space to go and talk with your second family and put some stuff out there and see what we can do with it. It's great.
thank you, Ava. And hi, Burdell. Introduce yourself and what do you value? What are the valued experiences that you've had during your time at the Women's Institute?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Burdell. I am a biology major. Technically by credit, I'm a senior. Um, and one thing I really value about the Women's Institute is prioritizing like issues that are important to women. That's, I don't know about you, but like lately, due to the like the state of our like country, it's and just in general, weirdly, because of the structure of the college, it's really hard to find a space where these things are really talked about, like where like it's where our well-being and making sure that we're taken care of is like, a focal point. I don't know, I'm a woman, so of course that's the kind of thing that I think about. So I was really happy when I got the news that I was an ambassador, and it's been wonderful to be able to like share my experiences with younger women, with Girls Inc. The networking event for that, and also learning from people that are older than me when I was lucky to go to New York um, for Women at Work, for the Women at Work event. Um, I've been very lucky to be part of a Women's Institute, and that's what I really love about it.
Bridgelle, what's one of the things that really struck you or that really resonated with you or that you were surprised or excited about when you went to the Hearst Tower in Manhattan with the Women in Work group?
Probably that they felt very assured about themselves. Like I've never been in a room where all of the panelists are women and they seem so confident and they seem like they really have everything together and they seemed so content. That was really nice to see. And they also seemed very powerful as well. It was very empowering.
What does it mean they felt powerful? How would you describe that
It,
powerfulness?
yeah, it was very obvious that they felt very confident and very assured in their skills. Like they know that they're here for a reason, that their words matter, that they've accomplished everything they have wanted to accomplish, and they're like they just know what it's like to be in a like more like unfavored position, but they've rised above it. Like they were very, very like smart, confident women, and it was really great to hear them tell their story.
Thank you. So, Chutria, you attended the Women at Work event at the Alpaca Gallery at the beginning of the semester. Can you share your experience there? This intergenerational mentorship program we have, and what that was for you in that at that event.
Women at this event that I went to was actually my first ever event as an ambassador, and honestly, it was so fun. Not only did I get to know all the members that was there, all these powerful women that were all in these male dominant fields, but I was also able to see that even though they were in these male dominant fields, they didn't they didn't look down on themselves or never once did they feel like they were less than. They rose to the challenge. They said, "Hey, I'm not a man, but I can do this. I could stand up and act like a man, but be a woman behind." And it was just so empowering. And also, like, I got to connect so much with the ambassadors at this event too, because this was like, I didn't really know anyone at that point, and it was just like I was hearing the ambassador stories and I was hearing all these powerful women's stories and then coming together. There was a lot of tears, a lot of emotions, but even though behind all of this, everyone was so strong and powerful and it was very uplifting because nobody ever like they didn't put themselves down and even though like there was definitely times when they felt challenged, but they didn't back down. That was the most inspiring part of the whole thing that despite it all, they never gave up.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And Lizzie, what's been an experience that you've had during your time at the Institute that you'd like to share, your learning or the connections that you made? What was impressive?
Yeah, I think we spoke about the Girls Inc. event where we had the opportunity to connect with younger women in middle school and high school, and then also older millennial and Gen X women who were able to kind of pass their wisdom on to us, and we were able to speak with the young girls who were getting ready to kind of make their search for college and speak to them about what that is like. And it was really inspiring to be able to see both of us and kind of working with everyone in that moment. So that was one of my favorite events. And last year as an ambassador, another one of my favorite events was the Mindfulness Labyrinth Garden that we created beside Finard House. And we did that with our affiliate scholar. And it was just a really nice time. We all painted rocks and spent time outside doing art. And I think we all kind of need that right now, especially in the cold. But yeah, it was just a really nice time where everyone kind of just comes together and is able to enjoy themselves and create something beautiful that we can go and look at whenever we need some peace.
And Ava, you and I have been working together on this To Be Women's History Month event that we're having on March 18th. And you've also been working with Jen Gish. Can you share what this experience has been like for you to see how event planning plays into the Women's Institute and your major as a business major?
Yeah, it's been great to kind of be able to tap into what I want to do career-wise versus and to what I'm doing at the school and how I'm helping people come into a space where they can feel heard and seen and appreciated and where they can feel empowered to do whatever they want to do. Coming here to Sage, I said I started PT. I thought that was the only route for me to go because I had a family member who was a physical therapist, but when I started, I it wasn't for me, and I couldn't really think of any other major other than business that I really wanted to do, but that also scared me because it's such a male-dominated field. So getting to be able to get hands-on with how I can strengthen my skill set towards my career while also helping the Women's Institute thrive and do events and be creative. It's been a pleasure to work with Jen and you, Dr. Brownell, and to be able to meet all the wonderful ambassadors that I see once a week. It's really been a great experience and I'm glad that I have this under my skill set now. I can get hands-on experience. It's been really nice.
So if somebody is taking a women's studies course or considering women's studies, what would you say about that connection as part of the work of the Institute?
I would
Liz?
say take, oh, I thought you were asking me. I'm so sorry.
Oh, Lizzie.
Um, so I've taken lots of women's studies classes at Sage over my last 3 years here. I was lucky enough to take victims and their experiences last year with Dr. Brayton, who is incredible. And we're able to incorporate the education about women's health and issues and the history of that and bring it into our work in the Women's Institute. So having that foundation is really critical. And another thing that's super important to me, and I think a lot of the women in the Institute, is preserving the historical women's history of Sage. And that's something that we talk about a lot. And being able to kind of tie that back to our studies and the education that we're receiving, and also the work that we're doing in the community is really important. And I am, I know Dr. Brennell said that I am considering adding the minor onto my resume because I would really like to work with victims of domestic violence after college. So having that foundation of women's studies is really important. And I think just something as a woman, it's important for me to have and to know.
Thank you. Burdell, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I'm hearing Lizzie talk about all this stuff. It just makes me think about how the Women's Institute and being more in touch with um and like therefore being more in touch with like feminist issues and stuff like that, how I plan to apply it for my future career. Um I always used to th think that like medicine is just kind of a thing that is like very isolated and everything like that, but it's really not. It's really important to know how it all kind of works together, I guess, how like the social determinants of health are like really I'm really bad at talking in front of audiences. I'm really sorry. But basically, how knowing about issues about women, knowing about issues when it comes to like healthcare policies revolving women, being very aware of like gender disparities, it all plays a part in what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I'm really glad that I'm a part of the Women's Institute and I get to see more about that I don't if I just like, attend school and not join any clubs and stuff like that. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Bridell. And Shatria, I saw you shaking your head vehemently. Did you want to add something?
Yeah, I think I want to add how in the Women's Institute, like I feel like personally with my degree, it's very important because being a part of this, I'm able to not only empower myself, but I'm gaining so much knowledge about so much women's issues that I didn't even know about and I'm now discovering. And I wouldn't have known that if I was a part of the Women's Institute. And also, like, as a future educator, like, this is a field where it's predominantly women run. So it's like like we're mostly like underpaid. It's a very emotionally demanding field, and I feel like the Women's Institute provides a space to recognize and acknowledge these challenges, while in a way kind of like empowering us to advocate for ourselves, and then in that advocating for ourselves, we're able to advocate for like not only ourselves but like other people. So I'm able to teach my future students to advocate for themselves. Also, I'm like uplifting them in a way and embedding these principles and skills that I've learned from the Women's Institute into these young minds that will make our future a brighter place.
I'm feeling uplifted just listening to you tell your stories. And, I'm wondering if people in the audience, people who are listening to you, can connect with some of the things you're saying. Coming to college and so many new experiences, and to have a place where we hold the historical value of women's education and the history, and continue to know that there are so many issues we still need to work on to make progress. And so to have you all talk today about what this has meant to you, what you value about it, what you're learning about it, how it's informing positions, and the way in which you think and what you're going to do when you get into your own careers is as our students, as our women ambassadors always say, women uplifting women. I mean, that's part of what they say, they share with me. We have, Ava, we have just a couple of minutes. Do you want to, so you kind of shaking your head as well. Is there something you'd like to add?
Yeah, I love the touch on advocacy. I really think it's something not talked about enough. I think more women need to advocate for more women, and I want to put men into that sector too, because it's not about us wanting to be better than men. It's about equaling out the playing field. We want to be seen in the same light. We want to be heard in the same way. And I just think that this institution stands for such strong support beams that will help engage in those acts and help push women to not be afraid to speak up and say what's right and do what's right for themselves. That's all. Thank you.
And the other thing too, to our audience, if you have something to add, you have something that's resonating. Oh, I think I see this in the chat from Jen. Great. Because the Women's Institute, we're a community and we're reaching out to the larger Russell Sage College community, alum, of course, you, uh, different departments, different folks that may not have been connected to the Institute as closely. We're really rebuilding a lot of the relationships, and it's really pretty exciting to watch this unfold and watch the community's reaction. to how well these women are representing Russell Sage College. We are a very caring community, and I see it in these women, not just the women present today, but the women that are part of the Institute. So I think what we'll do now, Jen, I think you're going to handle the Q&A.
That would actually be me, but we are
Oh,
ready to go.
okay.
Um,
Sorry, Fran.
that's okay. So this is a question from Octavia. How would I be able to collaborate with events to provide skincare products for guests? And I think also for a larger question of how can people collaborate with the Women's Institute overall, for your upcoming projects? What's the best way to get involved?
Okay, I'm going to ask the students to answer that question, and I have my own answer, but what would you recommend to people who want to get involved? How can they get involved? Okay, Burdell.
I would probably suggest for them to attend a meeting and just kind of watch us like in our element and then also like propose like a possible project for us to do. I feel like in general we're pretty like liberal with how we want to help the community and how we want to spend our time like uplifting our community. So I feel like attending a meeting to see how we are and like what we care about while also proposing um a service or like a product or something we can do to make like our surrounding town or like city a better place. I think that's the way to go about it. But I don't know. That's just me.
I think that's a great idea, Burdell. And of course, you can send an email to me. You can send an email at the women's, it's the Women's Institute. I'm going to put it in the chat. Is this going to everybody? No.
So, and if
Jen,
anyone else has other questions, please drop it in the Q&A and we're happy to answer them.
everyone, that's what I want.
All right, the next one that came in is from Sandra, and she said, I'm appreciating these young ladies sharing their experiences at the Women's Institute and what they're learning. This is a wonderful opportunity for women to support each other as well as serving others in the community. Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone on the call that participated like in the Upton Center or the Women's Institute in some capacity? Or is anyone that's on the call that that also is interested in connecting with the Institute and the ambassadors?
We have a question from Benita. Have the certificates been approved by the State Ed Department?
The certificates are in process. They're not going to be state ed certificate approved by the state. It does, what we're doing doesn't fall underneath that credit bearing certificate process. What we're doing is we're providing an opportunity for people to come and take modules or credentials in particular areas, and it'll be a certificate from the college, but not from state ed. So how we're looking at this is we're looking at this as a way for people, to sort of step into an area that maybe they want further study, or they're thinking about going back to get an advanced degree. And this is a way they can step into that and get work toward a 3-credit MBA course that they can use as part of their degree requirement. And I think that, I don't know, Jen, if you're on the call, maybe it might be something you can address. You're much more involved right now in the development of this program, and I don't want to speak out of turn here.
Sure, we call it a small C certificate because, like Dr. Brownell said, it's not an official advanced certificate the way we have in school business leader, school district leader certificate program, and those sorts of things at the college. It's really, there'll be 3 2-week modules that one happens in May, one happens in October, and one happens in November. And if the participant takes all three of those, they'll be able to stack those toward 3 credits toward an MBA program, or as Dr. Brownell said, the OM master's program as well. We're also looking at the possibility of allowing for women with vast career experience to also go through a credit for prior learning evaluation and earn an additional 3 credits. So to be able to come into our MBA program, which is 36 credits, or our organization management master's program, which is only 30 credits, and just get 2 classes taken care of off the bat, is really helpful when, for the student who's trying to balance it all, which I went back to school for my master's degree in my mid-40s. So I was doing homework on the weekends with my kids on the couch, and did it that way. But I was a timid returner, not so sure I could handle, even though I had had a very successful career in between my undergrad and grad school. And the idea of this program is to sort of dip the toe in for the reluctant student who may be in that same phase in her life and isn't sure if she can do it all. And so to be able to take the modules and do it in 2-week segments and kind of get a feel for being back in school again and writing a paper and all of the things that'll be part of this really helps to take away that barrier. So we're very excited about the partnership. It's something that Women Work has been wanting to supply their membership with for a long time. They've wanted to do a more formal cohort-based, build your network kind of program, and to be able to be their partner and do that, we're just thrilled.
Thank you, Jen. More to come.
We have another couple of comments. This work aligns beautifully with the positive psychology, positive education, which is the science of human flourishing and well-being, and the Institute represents that beautifully. Well done. As Sandra said, I agree, you all are inspirational, and we've all been really looking forward to hearing from these experiences. Nancy says, I live out of the area, but know many of my sister's shoes of 1980 support your work. And are there any gaps in the program that you need more support for?
Oh, that's a great question. That's a great question. Are there any gaps? Everybody understands the question, right? The ambassadors, are there any gaps that we could use support for? Well, we could always use support for our service projects, right? Volunteers or people to distribute, to come in and like we're working at the college as a period pantry. Does somebody want to talk about the period pantry? Lizzie, can you speak on that?
Yeah, the Period Pantry is a location both on the Troy and our Albany campus. It's in conjunction with the Gator Closet. So their students can go to get free food items, or we also have a career closet where they can go and get clothing for professional interviews or anything like that. And then the Period Pantry is also there. So that's where students can go and get period products at any time. There's no stigma or anything. Nobody's watching. So one of the things that we work with is kind of stocking it and keeping it full with quality, good products. So that's always something we're working on and need donations for.
And I would also say too, if you're interested in mentoring, if you're interested in coming to talk with us, that's a great way. We've been having book clubs. So if you're somebody who is an avid reader and you want to connect with us around books, sending us recommendations, we're happy about that. If you feel like a monetary donation is something that you can bring to the Institute, we'll accept that too. Any special or anything that you can do to support women's education and some of the projects that they're mounting would be terrific. I don't know if anybody else has any ideas about gaps. Let me think on that more.
So the next comment is from Marianne. Just as I listen to Dr. Brownell and the student ambassadors, the future is so bright. Although you're on your own academic path, you've come together to support each other, the college, the community, and society's needs to advance awareness of women's issues and successes. Keep up the fantastic work, and kudos to the Women's Institute leadership guiding the way. And then we have another one. This is not a question, just happy to hear about this and see my former colleague. That's from Jean Poppy.
Gee,
And
Poppy, hi.
then we also have how many women are involved in the Women's Institute right now?
We have 12 women ambassadors, and we're looking for 15. We're hoping to get applications and accepting 15 new first-year students for entry into the class of whatever it is, coming in fall 26. I don't even want to say what the other side, that number is.
I don't think any of us want to say what that number is.
Right?
Because
Yeah.
I think it's 2030.
Is it? I know, that's what I thought. Oh my goodness.
All right. Do we have any more questions?
So
Um,
appreciate the comments. We so appreciate the comments.
So we do have one more. Sage used to have a room where there was donation of professional clothes. Yes, that is the Gator Closet that Liz was mentioning. It's available for male and female students. So we are always looking for professional clothes for everyone. And the Career and Self-Discovery Center helps with that project, I think, for the most part. Or you can reach out to the alumni office and we can help you facilitate that donation as well. They are on both campuses, so wherever students are, and that's where we meet their needs. Paula says this has been very informational as well as inspirational. When you talk about attending those meetings, Burdell, are those on Zoom or are those in person?
They're in person. Yeah, they're very, very much in person in the Finard house. It's a very wonderful house. Um, Amy passed and Dr. Brownell, they put a lot of time and effort into making it very like warm and cozy and just the place you want to be in for a really long time. And we always start off our meetings with check-ins, like a simple ask of like how our day was today. And then we delve into like the stuff that's been preoccupying our mind basically, and then on the surface projects. It's really great. It's awesome.
So
Um,
the students meet for 2 hours each week on Wednesday. There's a 2:30 to 4:30 meeting. And the ambassadors apply to become ambassadors. They're interviewed and then possibly accepted. And what comes with that is a scholarship, a $1,500 per year scholarship to be part as part of the ambassador, um, acceptance. Ava, I thought I saw you have your hand up.
Oh, I was just gonna say for anyone who wants to attend a meeting and maybe can't make it in person, I bet we can figure out a way to get them there on Zoom because I know we have the TV behind us and everything. So if they really wanted to sit in on one, if they couldn't come and make it in person, we could find a way to figure it out.
Or maybe we could have an open meeting where people could join on Zoom.
That's a really good idea. I was gonna say that, but I wasn't sure if it was like along the lines of what we do or not. So
We could figure it out.
all right, this has been a wonderful share from these amazing young women's experiences and the Institute. Sage has always been intentional about this kind of work. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. We're excited about what we do. And we're, as I said, opening up to the larger community and encouraging participation because it's really about equality, right? It's about everyone being welcome, everyone participating. And we feel pretty strongly about that.
So we're in the final moment. So if there's any last minute questions, now's the time to answer them. I'm also dropping a link in the chat to everyone if you'd like to join us for any of our upcoming sessions. We've got one of these every month, and our next session is going to be on March 19th at 7 p.m. about our Criminal Investigative Resource Center, or CIRC, who you may have seen on the news because they just helped crack their third cold case just in the last couple of weeks, bringing closure to yet another family. So if you're interested, please register for one of the upcoming sessions. And you're always welcome to contact the Women's Institute directly if you'd like to get involved or would like to know more about them. All right, so thank you all so much for coming tonight. And we will hopefully see you again soon.
Thanks everyone for joining us. We really appreciate your interest. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.